written down. In my next back here, I will be happy to see the big house is no longer Mrs. Kafka, Mrs. Bender, and Mr. Brancho for the help in moving away from this school. I have been working for the last year or so to do away with this school. Also, I want to thank Mrs. Kathy Bender for her service. She really cares about King George County and her community. Thank you for listening.
Is there anyone else? Good evening. My name is Chad, 957 Fair Street. First off, I would congratulate three new board members. I think the board spoke loud and clear during the election. We have to change course. We have been living in 30 years of neglect in the county. Look at, for example, our last budget. We're spending $8 million in service payments just taxing the interest. I want people at home to be something. When you have a credit card, you spend it up, you can't just pay the interest, you have to tackle the principal. And that's what the county in the next budget look at. How can we start saving to tackle the principal? And not only that, we need to start thinking about the future generation of people in this county who live and clean up this mess. My generation, I'm 19 years old, I don't have to clean up this mess. It's going to be my generation that has to sit there and deal with the burden and the mountain debt that we're in now. So I'm asking for, during the next, this upcoming budget season, take a strong look at how we can address the deep-rooted issues we have in this county. It's not surface level, it's deep-rooted. And I think the actions of this board have spoken out and clear that we're going in that direction. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Craig Rollins. I live at 10558 Kings Highway, King George. The reason I'm here tonight is I'm going to ask the new board members. Matter of fact, congratulations, happy New Year to all of you. I'm asking for the board to take a look and make some amendments on the new zoning rules and laws that have came in effect in King George on December 19th. First of all, I think we need to know what these words mean as being broke down to make sure that everybody is on the same page. I'm being told that I cannot put trailers in my trailer park on a lot that has been sitting for longer than 2 years. I find that ludicrous. That makes no sense in a trailer park, but it makes perfect sense if you don't know the true definition of what a trailer park is. Now, I've looked up two different definitions of trailer park. One came off Google, one came out of Webster Dictionary. The first definition is an area equipped to accommodate mobile homes. The second definition of trailer park is a mobile home park, caravan, mobile home community, or manufactured homes community is a temporary or permanent area for mobile homes and travel trailers. Advantages include low cost compared to other housings and quick and easy moving to a new area. Structure is noted in this book several different times. If there is a structure there in place, then these rules do not apply. Well, structure, if you break down the definition of structure, it is two. One is a noun and one is a verb. I will concentrate on the verb. The verb is to construct or arrange according to a plan, to give a pattern or organization to. And that's what we are doing in the trailer facility. In a trailer park, the trailer park owner does not always own the trailers. They own the area. It is the discretion to the owner of the park whether they want to own the trailers or not. But I rent area is what I rent. Now, structure can be a number of things. It does not necessarily have to be a building. 90% of my park is set up electric, sewer, and water is all the same. It's all laid out the same. It's all in a pattern, and and it was constructed from a plan. Constructed areas are structured areas. And to me, the structure is there for me to use it, and I'm being denied. Thank you.
Is there anyone else present? Mr. Dines? Is there anyone online?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we'll close public comment at this time. We have reports of members of the board. Mr. Davis,
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
any report or comment?
Comment on what it said?
Yeah, or you can.
I could speak that. I'd speak to Miss Anne Marie. Thank you as always for coming out, supporting us. One reason why I ran is because I think it was someone I know's grandma said that you don't have a making money problem, but you have a spending money problem, and it's exactly what we do. You know, we're 27,000 people trying to compete with people that live in 100,000 people live in Stafford or something like that. And we're trying to compete with those people and trying to emulate that. And that's not who we are. And we need to get back to who King George is at the roots. And we need to get back to the fact that we're not the gateway to Fredericksburg, we're the gateway to the Northern Neck. And we need to embrace who King George is and stop trying to emulate others. And I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. I think Mr. Anthony, that kind of speaks to what you were talking about as well, is that we do. And we have to get that under control. And that means that going forward, we're going to see some things as far as cuts. You know, if we're going to make it work here as a family and as a community, there are going to be some things that we're going to have to, you know, cut back on and cut the fat in a sense, you know, where we're just kind of spending at will and not really look at the overall big picture. And I ran on the same thing with my kids living here. Will they be afford to live here one day? And not just that, but I know there's people that live around me who are 80 years old who've lived here for a couple of generations who are getting taxed out of their properties. And it appears that the people that move here don't really understand that and don't care about those people that were here, you know, and we do. And just I want to let you know, you heard Mr. Ross, I'm going to dig deeper into what you're talking about. I'm an American, I'm a constitutionalist, and you own your property. And I hear what you're saying. So I can promise you that we will address what you're talking about. Close.
Mr. Sullins?
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know this is not how we thought we would start the first meeting of the year with a closed session. I appreciate your patience on that. Just the nature of it, it had to be done that way. I also want to thank the folks that took the time to make public comment tonight. Mr. Rollins, you made some very good points, and I promise you that's something that we'll look at. Yeah, I think you made some very valid points. I would encourage you over the course of the coming year, stay involved, continue talking with us, help us to know what we're doing right, help us to know what we're doing wrong. I've been coming to meetings last year. The crowd in this room kind of ebbs and flows depending on what the topic is. Don't be afraid to, if you don't have time to check things out, you know, live and in person, don't be afraid to look at it online. Don't be afraid to look at it after the fact. More than anything, though, don't be afraid to engage us. We're here because we want to serve the county. So feel free to chat with us. We're all, I think, open to the idea of having town hall meetings and discussions so that we can have, you know, a little bit more informal conversations. I think it's going to be a cool year. We're going to have a lot of work ahead of us. We're going to have a lot of fun. Like Mr. Satt said, there's a lot of things that we need to do to fix the direction our county's been going in. We're your representatives, though. We can't represent you if you don't communicate with us and let us know what you want. So please stay engaged.
Mr. Stroud?
So I used to sit out there and I used to hear the supervisors up here basically saying the same thing over and over again. And so I'm not going to do that. I do appreciate it. I'll say it this time. You're not gonna hear it every time. I appreciate everybody coming out. Okay, we need it. Thank you. Everybody's already addressed the comments that were made. There were some good comments. I agree with them. The curtains have only began to be opened. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Strout. Ms. Bender?
It's nice not to be first this time. Anna Marie, as always, thank you for your kind words. And I thank everyone who came out and spoke, Anthony and Mr. Rollins. I spoke to you a little bit at the end of the last meeting, and there's quite a few things I would like to look at with the ordinances going forward. And the ordinances can be amended at any time, as long as you give public notice. And as always, I love to hear from people. I love to talk to people. And like I promised last year, but I really need to make sure that I actually start doing my Facebook. I'm just, as you get older, you sometimes resist, but too many people have told me, young and old, do the Facebook page. So I'm going to work on that. That's all I can promise. And I thank you all for sitting in the audience and waiting. And I just wish good tidings to King George and work with my new colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bender. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out this evening and look forward to big changes in King George County. Mr. Rollins, I've already spoken to you, and it's going to be that issue is coming forth soon. Ms. Bender, is there a motion in regards to the performance agreement?
Yes, there is. As I stated, when I voted yes, I wanted a seat at the table. Here's your seat at the table. I make a motion, having voted on the prevailing side by which we approve the Amazon performance agreement, I hereby move we reconsider that vote. Anyone, that is my motion.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, this is just the vote to reconsider the vote. So if you want that agreement to come back before this board and undo the approval that was done on December 15th, you would vote yes to this motion. That just brings it back, and then you can do what you want to do with it after that.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Is there a second?
Second.
Properly second. Is there any discussion?
We get just a question. Are we going to talk about any of the reasons why we're able to do this? And I pass that to you.
I'm happy to explain.
Yes, sir, please.
Like, Mr. Chairman. And so for the members of the public and others, there's a provision in the rules, governing rules and procedures of King George County Board of Supervisors that allows a motion to be reconsidered. It's found at section 6, paragraph F. And what that means is if you, and Mrs. Bender did this on December 15th for a reason. She voted yes to that Amazon performance agreement so that she could then, this meeting, vote to reconsider that motion. And by doing that, the board will now bring that performance agreement back before this board, and they can renegotiate, they can disapprove, they can do whatever they want to do with it. And so it was very astute on, I guess I shouldn't give commentary, but it was a very astute move by Mrs. Bender to recognize that and to realize those rules so that she could get this back before the board.
Thank you.
Is that enough?
Yes, sir. I just wanted the public to know why we were doing it. Yes, sir.
And it's my understanding the board wants to reconsider it so that they can take different steps and not have that the prior board voted on it before the new board came in, and this now gives the new board members the opportunity to visit that agreement and make decisions that this new board wants to make.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? Properly seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Could we just do it again by roll call, Mr. Davis?
And Mr. Chairman, now you don't need to do anything other than you voted to reconsider it. That vote has been reconsidered now, so that document is before the board. And you can pass it by, you can vote on it again, you can give instructions for someone to renegotiate. but the vote that was taken December 15th has now officially been reconsidered.
December 19th, isn't it? 15th?
So is it the pleasure of the board to have Mr. Stewart renegotiate the agreement?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
if it is, could we have a motion, please?
Got a question?
Excuse me. Under the bylaws, once you take a motion to reconsider, you can only act on the reconsideration at the next meeting after advertising that you're going to take action. So you can't take action tonight on reconsideration, but at your next meeting, you can take action.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, Ms. Washington is correct. An action would be voting on it. So I think you can direct us to go back and renegotiate terms with Amazon because you're not actually acting. An act is when you vote on it, is my understanding of the law.
So we'll give you instructions to do that, Mr. Stewart.
I don't know if it makes a difference also, but I know that when the last motion was made by the individual on the board, there was no action tied to it. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Davis is correct. The motion made on December 15th, and I happened to be here, made by Mrs. Kupka, did not direct anyone to enter into an agreement. And so they approved the agreement, but they never authorized either the chair or the county administrator to actually execute the agreement.
Yes, sir. If you need to take a recess to speak with your
If I could talk to Mr. Stewart real quick.
yes, so we're going to take a 5-minute recess.
We got to go back there.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
We are now back in open meeting.
All right. Mr. Chair, I would like to make another motion to bring back to the table the discussion of the merger of the service authority with the county.
Second.
Properly second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Mr. Stewart, that's another.
Mr. Chairman, I understand, and I may not know as much history on this as I have, but I spoke with Mrs. Washington about it. There was already a resolution adopted, so this wouldn't be a reconsideration, but you all can always adopt another resolution, essentially undoing what you did before. It's just a procedural thing. So if you all decide to have discussion on that and proceed to adopt another resolution, you're perfectly entitled to do that. You're just not reconsidering the last one.
So will you prepare that? Constitutional officers, any constitutional officers here this evening that'd like to give a report to the board? A report? Okay, thank you. Is there any constitutional officers online that would like to give a report?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next will be boards and commissions. So we'll go through each one. We'll ask for a nomination, a second, and then a vote. So, okay. You have to complete one.
I wrote all mine down. I wrote all mine down.
Sorry to interrupt. The consent agenda.
We forgot to do the consent agenda. I'll make a motion to, thank you, Ms. Fish. I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Motion properly made. Second.
Aye.
Properly second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye. I was going to get to that, Ms. Bender.
Sorry to run over you there.
That's okay. Do you have the boards and
No,
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fish. I will just go down the list and make the nomination in a second. If anyone who wants to change what boards, I had socialized this with everybody ahead of time because especially when I came on the board, I had no idea what some of these boards were. And I wanted to make sure my colleagues had enough time to understand what the boards were and decide what they would like to be on so that they knew what they were signing up for. So the first one is me, so I can't make a motion on that.
I make a motion for Kathy Bender to be appointed to the Dagger Museum Board.
Second.
Properly seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you, Ms. Bender.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to appoint the following people to the Fredericksburg Regional Alliance. Ken Stroud as the normal representative and Mr. Solons as the alternate to the Fredericksburg Regional Alliance.
Is there a second?
Second.
Properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
All right, Mr. Collins, I would like to make a motion to appoint Mr. T.C. Collins to the FCC Military Affairs Council.
Second.
Properly second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye.
Next up, I need somebody else to make this one. Well, I would be the main, it was two representatives, so.
Is he the alternate? Or
Yes,
Okay. Second motion, you guys together.
yes.
I make a motion for Kathy Bender and David Sullins as the alternate to the GWRC, George Washington Regional Commission.
Second.
It's properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye.
Next up is I'd like to make a motion, a liaison with the King George Fire Rescue and Emergency Services, Mr. T.C. Collins.
Second.
Properly second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
All right. Next up, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mr. Bill Davis to the Northern Neck Tourism Commission.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Next up, I would like to appoint Mr. Ken Stroud as the main representative and Mr. Sullins as the alternate to the NSWC Comrail Community Relations Council.
Second.
Properly second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Now I would like to make a motion to appoint Mr. Ken Stroud and Mr. Bill Davis as the alternate to the Potomac Watershed Roundtable.
Second.
Properly second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I'd like to make a motion to add Kathy Bender to the RAA Health Generation Board of Directors.
Second.
Properly second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Next up is I'd like to make a motion. Oh, wait a minute. I got that one. This one's a me.
I'd like to make a motion to add Kathy Bender to the Rappahannock River Basin Commission.
Second.
Properly second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next one,
Chair votes aye. Thank you.
thank you. Sorry about that. Interrupt you. Next up, I would like to make a motion for the Regional Jail Board Commission. Mr. T.C. Collins is the Board of Supervisor representative. Mr. Chris Giles is the representative as the sheriff. And the third representative I will not make today because that was Mr. Miller, and we will have to decide on who that representative is. So my motion is for two representatives.
Second.
Properly second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Davis? Thank you. Chair votes aye.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Mr. Bill Davis to the Social Services Board.
Second. Mr. Sullins, take the second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Mr. Bill Davis to the YMCA Board of Directors.
Second. Been properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Ms. Bender, did you vote on that one?
Yes, aye. This one is, I'm the primary and he's the alternate.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion to add Kathy Bender as the primary and David Sullivan as the alternate to the Fredericksburg Area Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Second.
Properly second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Mr. T.C. Collins to the King George County Local Emergency Planning Committee, also to the Bay Workforce Elected Officials Consortium Board.
Second.
Two.
Hearing properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I'd like to make a motion to add TC as the primary, Chairman Mr. Collins as the primary and Kathy Bender as the alternate to the BOS Emergency Operations Center liaison.
Second.
Properly second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
I think that's all of them.
Okay. The next item will be informational items. So in the future meetings, we'll be working on a strategic economic plan, the old courthouse report, the old preschool report. Some of these items were asked for during the orientation of the new members. We will be right on the budget right away. Amazon will be before us again, and we'll need to discuss the skills and qualifications for a new county administrator. We'll need to do the bylaws, and I think that we all agreed to have Mr. Stewart work on some of the amendments to the zoning ordinance, or at least look into them on the trailer part.
For adjournment. I make a motion to adjourn to the next meeting of the Board of Supervisors, which would be a work session to January 8th, 2024 at 4 p.m. in the Rivercombe Boardroom, or Robert H. Combs Boardroom.
Second.
Properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
I do have one nomination to make. The at-large member of the EDA, Becky Gallimore, her term expired December 31st, and for continuity's sake, I'd like to go ahead and nominate her tonight if I could, so that you can stay in place.
All right, just a minute. So if we can remove that adjournment,
I'll remove my motion.
okay, the motion's been removed for adjournment at this time. Go ahead, Mr. Stolens.
Miss Becky Gallimore is the at-large representative on the EDA. Her term expired December 31st. I would like to nominate that she be reinstated on the EDA panel and continue another term.
All right, motion made, properly second. Ms. Bender,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you. Is there any other business before the board? Ms. Bender?
Okay, I'll make another motion again to adjourn to a work session, which is the next scheduled next meeting of the Board of Supervisors on January 8th, 2024 at 4 p.m. in the Robert H. Combs Boardroom.
Second.
Been seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We're now adjourned. Thank you.